organization, the Institute for Memory Impairments and Neurological Disorders, UCI Mind. UCI Mind has a 25-year history of discovery in brain disease, especially Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. We have 50 faculty, 100+ trainees and staff who have devoted their professional lives to studying these diseases. This includes several world-renowned senior female faculty members whom I am grateful represent us here today, including Eileen Anderson, Ruth Banka, Maria Carrata, Liz Head, Andrea Tenner, and Leslie Thompson. I'd also like to thank Suzanne Sandmeyer, the Vice Dean of Research in the School of Medicine, as well as Haiwan Shin from our community partner organization, the Somang Society, for being here today. We are incredibly proud of all that UCI Mind is and does and has accomplished in its illustrious history. We are, of course, home to Orange County's only federal and state-funded Alzheimer's disease research center. We partner with other universities around the country to accelerate our science, discovery, and understanding of Alzheimer's disease. We partner with local community organizations to involve more people in our research, especially including people from diverse ethnic and racial backgrounds. And we partner with philanthropists to create new opportunities for our investigators to increase their contributions and our knowledge about Alzheimer's disease. One way that we use philanthropy is to fund pilot work, which permit investigators to test novel ideas and concepts and collect data that will make them competitive for large-scale NIH grants. We could not be more proud of our partnership with WAM to fund pilot grants at UCI Mind that are focused specifically on the role of sex in Alzheimer's disease and related disorders. I am personally grateful to Maria Shriver and her team at WAM for allowing us to partner on this novel and exciting initiative. It is my great pleasure to introduce Maria, who is, of course, the former First Lady of California, the founder of the Women's Alzheimer's Movement, and a true leader, just today organizing a listening event of the Governor's Task Force on Alzheimer's disease here in California. Maria, thank you so much for your partnership, for being here today. Please come.
I haven't done an Alzheimer's event, and I've done a lot of them in the 15, 16 years that involved these kind of chairs and a surfboard. So I think this is super exciting. It's light, it's happy, there's a beach towel, there's some beach toys, so this is exciting. Thank you, Josh, and thank all of you for being here today. I want to just shout out Aaron Stein and Sandy Gleistein, who work at the Women's Alzheimer's Movement and keep it operating and functioning nationwide and globally every single day, and have been such instrumental partners with UCI Mind getting us to this place. The Women's Alzheimer's Movement was started right after the Shriver report 10 years ago that reported to the nation for the very first time that Alzheimer's disproportionately impacted women, and nobody knew why that was. And so after that report came out, when I started traveling around the country, because my father had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2003, I kept going to researchers and saying, why? And they're like, it's just because women live longer, go home. And so that didn't sit well with me, and I went to organizations and said, you've got to start studying women. And it's been a little bit like climbing Mount Everest. And so to find somebody like Josh, who understands the importance of sex differences and who actually wants to lead in this space, and UCI Mind wants it to be a leader in this space, is music to our ears. And I would say that that story about women has changed, thank goodness, in the last couple of years, where so many researchers are now saying, yes, we understand It's not just because women live longer. We understand that women's brains are different, and we understand that we have a gap in knowledge as to understanding women's brains, women's health in general. And I'm really proud of the work that the Women's Alzheimer's Movement has done in this space and continues to do, which really benefits us all. It will benefit men, it will benefit women, and it will particularly benefit young people who are coming up. And my hope is that when my daughters and my sons and your daughters and your sons and your nieces and nephews get to my age or Josh's age, that the story for their neurological health is a vastly different one than the one that I've experienced or that really is open to me. And that happens really because, as Josh was saying, philanthropists come together, heads of institutions come together, researchers come together and say, you know, we recognize that there is a way forward here and that we haven't studied this and we haven't studied that, and we want to be a part of the creation of the new. And I'm really interested in that, and so this is a great partnership for us. We funded other things here. I've come down here to help raise money, and I will always come down here because I believe in your leadership. I believe in the doctors that are here, the researchers that are here. Ruth Benko just participated in the Governor's Task Force listening tour that we did here at UCI Mind, and brought many really good ideas to the table. And I believe that California can lead our state forward and can really lead the nation forward. And I believe that investing in sex differences in research is a part of how we get forward, because women are 2/3 of the caregiver, 2/3 of those impacted by the disease, and we lag, as I said, way behind. So this is the beginning of a great friendship. I'm not sure exactly how this goes from here. You're going to now explain how, you're going to explain everything, and then I'm going to come back and introduce the woman who made some of this possible. So thank you so much. I'm super excited about that.
So, as Maria said, the goal of this initiative was really to catalyze great science here at UCI Mind. We wanted to lure our best and our brightest to devote themselves to the study of sex and Alzheimer's disease. And we were very, very thrilled when, in our first year of funding, we were able to award the inaugural pilot grant in the UCI Mind WAM Women's Initiative to two senior, well-respected, exciting neuroscientists in the Department of Neurobiology and Behavior at UCI Mind, Dr. Sunil Gandhi and Dr. Mathew Blurton-Jones. And we are going to invite them to present the results of their science that was completed with the generosity of the UCI Mind WAM Pilot Initiative. Matt?
It's a man.
There are many very talented women who work with me and who really did all the work here. I'm just happy to be presenting it. So thank you, Josh, for the introduction, and thank you very much to the Women's Alzheimer's Movement for funding this work. I'm keeping it very short, keeping it quite simple, but really what we've been trying to address, Sunil and I, is this question about, see if this pointer will work for me, maybe not. Well, this question about sex differences in Alzheimer's disease. There seems to be a much greater prevalence of Alzheimer's in women than men, and why might that be? So what we focused on is a cell type called Microglia, and some of you may have heard of Microglia. They're getting quite popular in terms of Alzheimer's research. They're actually the main immune cell of our brain, and they have a lot of really important functions. So they maintain the function of our neurons, and they maintain the connectivity of our neurons, which allows us to have complex thoughts. They respond to brain injuries or other insults, and they surveil the brain area to make sure there's no pathogens getting in there. They will clear unwanted protein aggregates, and that includes things like beta amyloid that some of you may have heard of as we think driving a lot of Alzheimer's disease. And there's been some genetic studies over the last 10 years that have really strongly implicated these cells, suggesting that mutations that affect the function of these cells seem to increase the risk of developing Alzheimer's in both women and men. But when it comes to sex differences, we know quite a lot about microglia in mice, and there are a lot of sex differences in the function and the genetics of these cells in mice. The way they respond to insults is very, very different, but we know close to nothing about microglia in humans and how they may or may not differ between women and men. And so that's our sort of major question is, if we ask, are there sex differences in human microglia? Are they going to be similar or different from mice? And we have evidence that they can be quite different, but there are certainly differences. And then whether those differences are driven by intrinsic qualities. So is it the fact that it's a female microglia or a male microglia? Or alternatively, is it the fact that it's in a female brain or a male brain? So extrinsic effects, so hormonal effects, for example, both could be quite possible. And so that's what we've been trying to explore. And the way we've gone about doing this, and I'll just show a couple slides of data here. So with the support of WAM, Sunil and I were able to develop a brand new mouse model that allows us to study human microglia inside of the brain of a mouse. You can imagine studying this inside human brains is very difficult. You can really only do it when someone passes away. Here we can look in live animals and be able to see how do these microglia interact with Alzheimer's pathology. So for instance, the blue at the bottom there is some of these amyloid plaques, and we've got microglia responding to those plaques. And we can use this model to ask, if we put a male microglia or a female microglia from a human into a male or a female mouse, what happens? So can you have extrinsic effects or intrinsic effects on these microglia? I'll just show you a little bit of data on this. So one of the specialties in Sunil's lab is that he's able to live image these cells as they're behaving. So the top panel here, you can see some microglia. They're little processes waving around. They're just checking out the environment, helping the neurons to stay connected. But you can also see their response to injury. So at the bottom, you see this rapid circle that occurs. We hit them with a laser, it caused a very local injury, and their processes come in within minutes to try and deal with that damage. And we can measure this very quantitatively, as the graphs show, to see how this differs between male and female mice, and we're starting to see hints that there are differences in this response. The other thing we can do is to take these microglia back out of the brain and do genetic analysis. And so we've been using a technique that's called single-cell sequencing. It's rather complicated and cutting edge, but the point is that it allows you to see the different subtypes of microglia that occur in the brain. And when we do that, and we compare the same set of microglia that have been put into a mouse that is a male or a mouse that is a female, we're seeing some really striking differences. So you can see that the clustering here, some of these different colors, are different between whether it was a male brain or a female brain. And what we're seeing in terms of those subtypes is that the female brain is driving a more inflammatory kind of phenotype to these cells. So the cells seem a little more activated in potentially a detrimental way. So this could be explaining some of what's going wrong here when you put cells into a female brain. Likewise, we could go and take female cells into a male brain and see how that changes. And it turns out that the effects seem to be more dependent on the environment, brain environment, than the cell itself. There are effects between male and female microglia, but the bigger effect is whether it goes into a male or female brain, which is quite interesting. So what does it mean to our understanding of Alzheimer's disease in women? So I would say our studies so far have really showed that the brain environment can really dramatically influence the gene expression of microglia, and we're starting to see hints that it can also influence the function of those microglia and the way they respond to injuries and Alzheimer's disease pathology, shifting towards a more sort of pro-inflammatory function. How does this move us close to a treatment? So, of course, as a basic researcher who's always thinking about translation, we've got a lot of steps to go, but what this is telling us is more about how sex hormones or sex can influence the function of these cells that we know is so important for Alzheimer's disease. If we can figure out drugs that could manipulate those cells, change them back to a phenotype we want, that could be beneficial. So for instance, we're seeing the female brain is driving this more interferon response, we call it. We could potentially target a response and bring it back to lower levels that might be beneficial. And then how did this grant help do this? Well, all this data I just showed you, and many, many more data, which if I had another half hour I could tell you about, was prompted and initiated by the WAM proposal. And one of the great things is that this data was able to be packaged and proposed to the National Institute of Health to raise a new grant. So we were recently awarded a new grant that is for close to $2 million to continue these studies and really expand them to find out more and more information about how sex is changing the function of human microglia and how this is contributing to Alzheimer's. So with that, there's many great people who have worked on this in both Sunil and my lab, and of course the funding from WAM was critical for getting this going. Thank you.
Okay, that was terrific, and thank you so much. And I actually followed it, which is amazing. Many of the times I'm going to these events, I'm like, what are they talking about? But I think that that's what's so important about philanthropy and about organizations like WAM and our partners, is that being able to give these seed grants, which then enable you to go for federal funding to expand on the early data that comes from this. So bravo, congratulations. I hope it helps. And I just want to say that, you know, WAM represents thousands, millions of women across the globe, and we wouldn't be able to do our work if it weren't for partners that help us do our work, and philanthropists, volunteers. As my mother always said in building the Special Olympics movement, it's a movement built on volunteers, but she left out the fact that it also was built on a lot of sponsorship that enabled her to do the work that she did. So I always say that WAM is built on volunteers and philanthropists and people who are really interested in the scientific community, in research and in data, and hoping that that will help not just themselves, but our larger world. So it's people that I think believe in science, believe in data, but fundamentally want to do good, want to make a difference, and want to make a difference for others. And so that's why I wanted to bring up Alisha Ballard. Alisha has been a long-time supporter of the women's Alzheimer's movement with her mind, her energy, her heart, and her pocketbook. And she is instrumental in furthering this kind of research, as I said, not just for herself and not just for her family, but for our larger community. So, Alisha, I want to bring you up, and you have an announcement. Your husband is here too.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you to everyone for being here with us today. Living Legacy Foundation is proud to partner with WAM and UCI Mind in this exciting initiative. Many years ago, my grandfather was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and we watched him slowly deteriorate from this terrible disease. For my grandfather and for many others dealing with this disease, we must invest in research and finally find a cure for Alzheimer's. I'm proud to announce that Living Legacy Foundation has made a gift in the amount of $250,000 to sustain this important initiative. In 2020, not only will we be supporting this important work, we will be doubling the number of research studies that we'll be funding. It's our hope that through this investment and through the leadership of WAM and UCI Mind, that we can move more rapidly to a world without Alzheimer's. Thank you.
Thank you, Alisha. Thank you, Maria. It's fantastic. It's incredibly exciting. We are so excited and thrilled to see this initiative becoming what we first dreamt it might be, to make UCI Mind a place where we will become a hub for understanding the role of sex in Alzheimer's disease through your generosity and your collective leadership. It's equally exciting that this year we'll fund 2 pilot awards, doubling the rate and doubling our rate of learning and making a difference in this disease. The last announcement of the day before we retire to the Tiki Lounge is that I am thrilled to announce the recipient of Year 2 of the UCI Mind WAM Women's Initiative, and that's Dr. Anshu Agrawal from the Department of Medicine and the School of Medicine, whose Application was titled The Role of Inflammatory Immune Mechanisms in Sex Differences in Alzheimer's Disease. We're very excited about her work. I hope that she's here. She is here. Welcome, Dr. Agrawal. We expect great discussion of the role of sex in Alzheimer's disease over drinks at the Tiki Lounge. Thank you all for being here. UCI Mind is a tremendously unique organization. It brings together stakeholders from academics, the community at large, including families and caregivers, philanthropists, and leaders. And we are honored to play this role and to strive for a world where there is no Alzheimer's disease. Thank you very much for being here.